Okay, again, good afternoon. Welcome everyone to our Google Apps Scripts and Forms webinar. I'm Susan Klein, Director of Training at LTech. I'm joined by Brian McNamara. Hi, Brian.
Hey, Susan, how are you doing?
Good. Thank you for joining me, and thank you all for joining. Today, this is our second webinar in our new series of monthly sort of what's new webinar and special topic webinars. You can see all of our webinars that we have listed on ltech.com/events, and so each of our clients gets 5 seats free to attend these webinars, and then some people get additional seats as well. I'll go over that at the end of the webinar, but we appreciate you all joining us. We are recording this webinar, so if you miss part of it, don't worry. You can watch it again on our Vimeo channel. Okay, so what are Google Apps scripts and forms? Well, let's start with just a demonstration here. So I'm going to show you an example of how you can use a form to receive an email when someone submits a form. So that's an example of a script. So when people create a form, you get an email about it. So before we get into how scripts works, I'm just going to do a demo. So I'm going into my Google Docs list, and I created just a simple form here called Contact Form Sends an Email. Okay, to people who view this form, maybe I've embedded it in my website. The form looks like this. So this is how they'll see the form. So I'll go ahead and I will fill out this form. I'll submit that. So the form's been submitted, and now I should get an email with that form. So here's that form. So I got an email, so it says from Susan, and the contents were hello. So it looks like the email came from me, but it will actually in the title say the name of the person who sent it. Let me do another one so it makes a little more sense. So let's say that Brian fills out your form. So if you'll write Brian McNamara, what's up? I need technical support. So he submits this, and then I'll get an email knowing it's fine to tell me that I just got a new form. So it looks like it says, what's up? So it says from me, but I see that's actually from Brian. He needs support. So Brian, I'm right. Now, what happens now when people fill out a form online? You don't get an email, right? That's not the default behavior.
Yeah, as an owner, you would have the ability to receive notification when certain documents are updated, but it's really crude, and it doesn't provide a really good interface to your end users. We find typically that forms work out really well, and as a script author, you have a great deal of flexibility in how information gets presented to, in this case, your email recipients.
Right. So, and Brian's right. I could have set up a notification for this form so I would get an email when someone submits the form, but it doesn't tell you what was submitted. It just tells you a user submitted the form. So this is more effective to use this script because it will actually send you the contents of the form. So I could see you using this maybe for tech support or customer support. If users fill out a form, it gets emailed directly to you with this script. So what I just showed you was an example of a simple script that sends the contents of the form right to you via email. So let's take a little bit of a deeper dive into what Google Apps script is. So let me take a quick poll here. For those of you on the webinar, have you ever used Google Apps script? Is this something you've used? If you're not sure, you can write maybe. If you've never used it, you can write no. All right, looks like most of you have voted. And I'll share the results here. So the majority of you have not used Google Apps Script, and I'm not surprised. It's not that heavily publicized by Google, and it's still sort of some developers are making scripts. Scripts can be really powerful. Brian, I don't know why, but why do you think that Google doesn't talk about it that much?
Well, I think there are a few reasons why. I think for um, one is that it does require a little bit more in-depth technical knowledge to ultimately develop the scripts themselves. The scripting language is actually based on JavaScript. There are some, I'll say, limitations in potentially doing larger scale development with Google App Script. I can assure you that the development is ongoing. There have been a lot of improvements made in the app script world over the past year. But outside of that, to be quite honest, I'm not sure. It is a great tool, and it really can help automate a lot of workflows that that users may want to in the apps world.
Right, right. Yes, and as Brian said, it's based on JavaScript, so it's the JavaScript engine in the cloud. So there's built-in access to the Google APIs, so you can access mail and calendar and docs and sites. AppScript is great for integrating third-party services. I know that if you use Salesforce, we use an app that integrates Salesforce and Gmail so that we can see information from Salesforce in our Gmail account, and that app is using Google Apps Script to connect them. Let's looking a little bit more at AppScript here. So this is what Google says: don't hate, automate. If you've got these processes, like the process, for example, could be having people sign up, register for a class, or fill out a form for contact. We can automate these processes with scripts, or expense reporting, help desk ticketing, approval workflows. That can all be done with scripts. It extends Google Apps, so you can customize Google Apps a little bit more to meet your needs. And it's pretty easy to use if you're somewhat technical. Now, I don't write my own scripts. I just use scripts that other people have already written. So you don't have to be a computer science major person to be able to use these scripts that are already written. Okay, so there are two types of app script users. There are the authors and the script users. So I would consider myself a script user. Like I said, I don't write the script. I use scripts that have already been written, and then I'll modify it a bit to help me. So the scripting process is that you would open the script editor from spreadsheets or sites. So maybe you didn't even know that you had a script editor in sites and spreadsheets. So here I am to take a look at the script that I was using. I'm in the spreadsheet for my Google Forms. In the tool menu, there is a link to the script editor. So I click script editor. You may be asked which script do you want to edit. Mine is the contact form emailer. And then it opens up this new window, and here's the script. It's really simple. I went into this script editor. The only thing I changed here, I just ignored all of this stuff. I just changed this link right here of where to send the email. So I put in my email address. So I just used the script that had already been created. I found the script by going to the Google Docs template gallery. So I selected Create. And from template, I could also share the script with you. And I think I just typed contact form and script. And I searched the template gallery. Here is that script I used. I selected to use this template, and it created a copy of the form with the script already attached right into my Google Doc list. So I didn't write the form. I just found this contact form here on the Google Apps template gallery, and then I just edited it. See, we have a question coming in here. Okay, I'll pause and we'll take Chris Keller's question. Hi, Chris. Chris Keller's joined us from Welsh Allen. He says, Brian, how many customers does LTech write scripts for today? What is the experience level in LTech? Do you do this for customers? This is a question for you, Brian, about what LTech does with scripts.
Sure. So in short, Chris, we have written scripts for clients. In fact, some of them are on the line now. In fact, so we do have the capability in house. We can talk a little bit further about what the script offering is, and potentially what are some other workflow automation tools that we can use at LTech. We've actually helped certain clients integrate Google Apps Script with approval processes. We've helped them do very, very simple email notifications. But the interesting thing is, with one of our clients, we actually took a existing request process from their public website and hooked in Google Apps Script. So they were doing a deployment from their previous email system over to apps, and they wanted to really leverage apps and everything it had to offer. So we were actually able to help them embed their existing contact form with Google Apps Script. So for those of you who have experience with Apps Script and have developed them using the form builder within spreadsheets, know that there are actually other creative options too.
Thanks, Brian. Appreciate that. So just continuing here on the scripting process, we open the script editor, we write the script, or we use a script that's already been written, and then we save the script. So there's the save button right there, and then we run the script. So I can click this run button to then run the script. I got an error here. I'm not sure why. Let's just ignore that for the purposes of this, because I think the script is set up to run automatically. So remember, I filled out this form and I automatically got an email. Okay, so what can you do with scripts? Now again, this webinar is just focused on Google Forms and scripts and some simple scripts that you can use. But if you want to do more advanced development for scripts, well, with spreadsheets, scripts can create, update, and delete items on a spreadsheet. It can read spreadsheet data and write spreadsheet data, and it trigger events. With Google Sites, again, create, update, and delete information on a site, read information from a site, or write data to a site. With your docs list, you could use a script to create, update, or delete items on the doc list, read data, or manage permissions. So think about what that means. It means you can actually use a script that would set up certain Google Docs permission. So maybe that would involve, well, if you fill out a Google form and you say, we've got a new hire, her name's Susan, based on that form, I would automatically get access to certain Google Docs or Google collections.
Susan, if we could just if we could jump back. So, okay, never mind. I'm actually jumping ahead of you. How about I'll let you talk and then I'll...
Okay, no, well, tell me if I'm missing something. But there's also mail, calendar, and contacts. With mail, scripts can send an email, like what we just saw. With contacts, you can use a script to automatically create, update, delete contacts, and read and write, and same with the calendar. And I think that was something you were mentioning earlier, Brian, about using scripts to create calendar events.
Yeah, so we've actually done that for some clients as well. So based upon submitted values, actually going in and creating calendar entries. The other thing to note too, the Google App Script site on code.google.com is a great resource. In fact, I would say it's the authoritative source for all things Google App Script related. The nice thing is the functionality that scripts offers is actually growing a lot. So I'll say for those of you playing at home and have worked with AppScript before, you may have noticed that there may be a bit of a disconnect between the Google data APIs and what Google Apps Script allows you to do, and that can actually be a point of confusion. The good news is the API team and the Apps Script team are working very, very closely to make sure that there is feature parity across both. So,
thanks, Brian. And I got a note that our audio is cutting out. Brian and I are both in different locations. We're actually in different states, so I can't blame it on the internet. So it must be an issue with GoToWebinar. So I'm sorry, but it sounds like it's back now. But if we missed something, just let us know. And thanks for pointing that out, Brian, about the support sites. We're going to be looking at those towards the end of the webinar with the different support sites. Oh, well, it was my next slide. Look, right there, code.google.com, and there's a special section for Google Apps Script. We'll look at that in a moment, but what I want to do now is look at how to set up triggers for your scripts. So what we have now in this contact form, I've got a trigger set up so that this script will execute right away. So the scripts that you build, until you set up a trigger, it just sits there. The script does not run automatically until you set up a trigger. So to go in to set up that trigger, I'm going back into the script editor. And we'll have the script load again. There's a whole menu called triggers. So I'll look at my current scripts triggers. And I have this set up, this is the one I should have, so that it's going to run this script, the form emailer script, from the spreadsheet on form submit. So I can have on open, on edit, on form submit. I want this script to run whenever someone fills out a form. So that's the trigger. So each time someone fills out a form, bam, triggers the script. I could also do a time basis. So maybe I don't want to get the emails every time someone fills out a form. I'll just get them time driven. So maybe I'll get it once a day, let's say. So I'll get it between, the script will run between 6 a.m. and 7 a.m. on my local time. Sorry about that. I think I just lost my audio connection. I want to go back in and review the triggers. Is that what we missed, Brian? Can you tell me where I cut off?
yeah. Yes. So basically, when you opened up the script editor, that's when it started to get a little bit choppy.
Okay. So what I did is I opened up the script editor, and then I went to the triggers menu so I could decide when this script should be triggered. So I selected triggers, current scripts triggers, and this menu opens up. So usually there's no trigger set up. You're going to have to set up the trigger. When do I want this script to run? Well, I want it to run when someone submits a form. So I'll click here to add one now. So the script I want to run is the form emailer from the spreadsheet, and I want it to run when someone submits a form. So with this trigger, anytime someone submits the form, I will automatically receive the email. So the script will be run. The other option is to add a trigger, a time-based trigger. So instead of from spreadsheet, I would choose time-driven. And then do I want this script to be run every minute or perhaps every hour? I could also select a day timer. So maybe this script will just be run between 6 p.m. and 7 p.m. So whoever submitted the contact form between 6 p.m. and 7 p.m., the script will run and send me the appropriate emails. So that's how the scripts run. So scripts do not run on their own. You need to set up the trigger or manually run the script. Now, if you don't have any triggers set up, then to run the script, you just click the Run button. And then the script will be run.
Yes, Susan, just to highlight one of the reason that you're receiving the error, you're actually utilizing the submitted value out of the form. So in this case here, that value E is being passed into a function, and I'll say yell if I start getting too propellery anybody, but essentially you can only capture that information on form submit. So because the data is already there, it's already been captured. You can't run it again manually.
Got it. So okay, I see. So
So
this is an example where I
we'll
wouldn't
run
run
form
it manually.
submit.
We'll look at another script where I could run manually. So we've talked a little bit about triggers. Now let's move on to taking a look at a simple mail merge script. So an example of when you would use this is if somebody sends you information and you want to send them a copy of the information that they sent. So here it is, simple mail merge script. I open it up. It opens as a spreadsheet. It's actually a form, right? So here is the form. I can take a look at, I can go to the live form. So this is how the script works. I fill out my information. So I'm going to say Lisa Simpson. And I'm in marketing. So I submit this form. Then Lisa, who filled out the form, will get a copy of the form. It should come to her unless I put her email address in here incorrectly. Did I spell that right, Brian? Collaborationcorporation.com.
Yep.
This may be the example where I actually have to go in here to the script editor and run this form because I don't think I have any triggers set up here. So I'll go to now this form is a bit longer. It has all of these different functions. I'm going to run the send email function. Okay, so I ran the function, and now Lisa should get a copy of her email. So there we go. Hi, Lisa. Thanks for filling out my form. Here's the data you submitted. So that's an example of a mail merge script. This is the email template. So this mail merge script contains this email template that you can modify. So let's take a look at how you could modify this mail merge script. One thing you could do is you could change what the email template says. Thanks for filling out my form. Maybe at the end of this script I want to write, visit our website for more information. So I've modified the text of the email that gets sent. Now maybe I want to collect some more information as well. So the first thing to do is to edit the form. So I'll go into the form editor. I don't know, Brian, what else might we want to collect here? We got first name, last name, email, department.
If you want to have just a contrived example, but you could add reply to address if it's a different address that you want to use.
Oh, okay. Well, that actually is a little too complicated for me because then it would send the email just the wrong one. Let's say birthday. How's that?
Okay.
Okay, so maybe we want to know this person's birthday because we send emails on their birthday. So I write a new question title, birthday. Now it's important that you remember the name of the field. So birthday is my field here. So I have edited the form. Okay, that's the first part. Now I need to edit the actual script. So I'm going to go into the Tools menu in the Script Editor. Okay, the first thing I need to change is right here where this function picks up the data in the spreadsheet, and right now it's just looking at columns 1 through 5. So if I wanted to pick up the 6th column as well, birthday over here, I need to change this to a 6. So that's going to pick up columns 1 through 6 is one thing that I need to change. So I'll go ahead and save that. Then also in the email template, I need to change that if I want the birthday to be displayed. So I can say, well, that's not going to help. So I'll just add a new line here. We hope you have a nice birthday on, and then I'm just going to copy what I see up here, but I'm going to change it to birthday. So instead of first name, I write the name of the column, birthday. How does that look? Okay. Shift Enter will not work. Tell me more, Brian. Are you there?
It looks like Susan's having some audio problems. She'll be joining back in.
Okay, I'm back. If that happens again, just talk over me. Brian is probably the best thing. So thanks for doing that. Okay, they're doing some construction on my building today, and I'm wondering if that is affecting the audio here. So I changed my script. What I did again with this is I added a new column. I changed the email template so that the person would get information that they entered here using this special code. Then I also edited the mail script. I had to say, hey, get one more column here. So now let's go ahead and I will fill out this form again. So now when I go to my live form, I've got even more information. So who should we be now? Okay, Bill Clinton. I'm going to put my email address here so I get it, and he is in the HR department, and the birthday is July 1, let's say 1946, okay? Maybe I'll just say July 1. So he submitted his form. We'll run that form again. Remember, I have to select the function I want to run. And the function is send emails. I don't have a trigger set up for this form yet. That's why I'm running it automatically. Okay, so Bill Clinton filled out the form, and now he gets the confirmation. Hi, Bill. Thanks for filling out my form. Here's the data he submitted. Visit our website, and we hope you have a nice birthday on Thursday, June 30th, 2011. Okay, so we have some to figure out this bug here because it sent the wrong birthday.
Sure. And just as an FYI, for if you'd like, you can change the formatting of strings as well, including dates and times. So Google has a default, but you can certainly work with and tweak the formatting.
So I just want to pause for a moment and sort of get your feedback here on how you might use this mail merge form. I mean, I know that when I submit a contact form to a company or for technical support, I like to get a confirmation so I know it just didn't kind of go out there into the ether. I want to know that it reached someone. So that's one example of how you could use this form for technical support. If you've got other ideas, go ahead and add them to the question panel. I'd love to know what you're thinking. Brian, how have you seen this mail merge form used?
So on the deployment side, one of my roles at LTech is I assist with Google Apps deployments. When it comes time to distributing user credentials in the apps world, depending on how users are being provisioned, you can actually do a mail merge, let them know what their Google credentials will be if you're not using a single sign-on. So that's a very, very common one.
That's a great one.
Yeah.
I have been this recipient of one of your mail merges like that, and it was helpful.
Good to know.
Okay, so the mail merge form, this is actually a template that I got from the Google code. So I'm just gonna, if you do a search of Google Apps script, the first page that will come up here is this one, Google Apps script. It's on the Google code area. Um, And what you'd want to go to is the user guide is where I would start. So in the user guide here, so all this technical stuff about Google Scripts, but lower down there are some tutorials. There are also these templates, and that mail merge script is one of these templates, I believe. Is it here? Yeah, here. Well, here's one for driving directions in a mail merge. You
Yeah,
can
there's.
also find this in the template gallery. What was that, Brian?
I was just going to say there's also a blog that's updated with Google Apps Script information as well, and one of their more recent topics was the different ways of doing a mail merge and app script.
And what was that blog, Brian? Can you send out the link to everyone?
Sure, bear with me for one moment. I'll need to find that.
Okay.
Yeah, I'll send this out.
So we've got some feedback here from Lori, who says, I work in an elementary school. We are deploying Google Apps. I think this would be helpful, but not entirely sure of all that I can do with this yet. Okay, but you're thinking about it. I think actually, Lori, what I'm going to show you next is a course registration script that I could see being used for educational purposes. So we looked at the mail merge script. The last script that we're going to look at today is a script for managing course or class registrations. So going back into Google Docs, I've called it the course registration script. Now, I open this up. A lot of these scripts, the people who write the scripts are nice and they give tutorials on how to use it. But what this does is you can create a registration form. Let's take a look at the registration form. I'll go to the live form where the individual would fill out their name, their email address, and then decide what they want to register for. I did an example here for maybe a salsa dancing. So we've got 3 different sessions. When the user fills out the form, so here I'm filling it out, and I'm going to register for advanced salsa. I submit the form. I think I should get an email right away. I don't remember if I set up a trigger on this one yet. Here's one that I got earlier, I think. Maybe I sent. So let me just run this form in case it hasn't been run yet. I'll go to the scripts editor. So I want to run the send registration email script. I can see that it's running. Remember in Google Apps, whenever you're getting informed of what's happening with the system, it will be in a yellow bar at the top. Okay, so there we go. Registration for Advanced Salsa. Hello, Susan. Thank you for registering for Advanced Salsa. You've been enrolled in the course. Fantastic. Well, what about from my standpoint? I want to know, I'm the person who runs these courses. I only want 10 people in my course, so I want to limit this to 10 people. You can do that with this script. In the settings area, you can you say the number of sessions, the session names, and the maximum enrollment. And so what will happen is if you go past the maximum enrollment, let me go to this template. So here's the response. Thank you for registering. If we've gone past the initial enrollment, the script will automatically send this email, which says you're on the wait list. And then if spaces open up, we can send this email. So if you want to use this form, what you need to do is go into the actual form itself and add the different names of the courses and any additional information you want. So this is a drop-down menu here. If I want to edit that, I could even add an additional course. So we got basic salsa, advanced salsa, salsa music, and maybe we should say salsa for kids. Okay, so we've added another class, salsa for kids. We'll save that. Remember the name, salsa for kids. You need to use exactly that same name. Now I'm going to go into the registration tab, settings tab, and now the number of sessions, I need to change that to 4. Name is salsa for kids. And then my max enrollment, I will say they're small, they have smaller bodies, we can take 20 people in this class. So we'll save this. And now users will now be able to register for the Salsa for Kids class as well. Now in this case, I probably do want to set up a trigger. So whenever someone submits the form, they will get the email. So current scripts triggers, there are no triggers. And so Brian, what kind of trigger do you think I'd want to set up on this one?
I would probably do on submit.
Okay, on form submit.
Yeah.
I agree, instead of a time-based one, because I know if I was signing up for a class, I'd want to get the confirmation email right away. So
yeah, the other important thing to keep in mind too, if you are developing scripts where you may want messages to only go out under certain conditions, it's very, very important then to keep track of message state. So if you only want emails to go out once, let's say based on time, you would want to keep track of whether a message or whether a function has been run or whether an email has been sent. Again, just more of a tip than anything else.
No,
here, if it's on submit, that really won't be an issue.
That is a good tip. That's a good tip. So what we haven't really showed you, okay, how to write these scripts, because this isn't a JavaScript course. This is just how to use scripts that have already been written. To get an additional script for your form, so let me go back into one of my forms here. Maybe I'll just create a new spreadsheet that I want to use a script for. There's a whole script gallery you can get to, and that is in the Tools menu under Script Gallery. So in the script gallery, it's kind of like the gadget gallery. Now again, these scripts are made by these are not Google created scripts, so there's the disclaimer, kind of use at your own risk. I think that if they're in here though, they've passed some kind of validation. But under the business script gallery, looks like there's some case management workflow. I just want to focus on scripts that can be used with forms. So here's the one where this script emails the contents of the forms to a recipient. We looked at this earlier. This one again allows you to do an easy mail merge, more rich mail merge. If you have built a Google form and want to do responses back in form view, this kind of does that for you. All right, so again, use these at your own risk maybe, but if you want to use a script from the gallery, choose install. And I got an error here. Let's try installing another one. So I click install. Now again, we need to authorize this, so I click authorize. I can now run the script. This has been installed. If I want to see that script again, I would go into my script editor, and then I can choose that Employee of the Week script. It's the one I want to work on. And most of these scripts do contain some instructions on how to use them. So that was the script gallery. Again, getting more to learn more about scripts, you're going to want to check out the code.google.com, the user guide for scripts, which is what I showed, the scripts gallery. So here is the user guide here. Now there are some tutorials. These are kind of tutorials written by engineers. They're okay. They're not great. but they're getting better. So some beginner tutorials and some intermediate. So if you're working with a developer and you want them to get started with scripts, you might send them here. And then again, as I showed earlier in the template gallery, if you choose the Create button and from Template, you can find templates that already have scripts. One script that I often recommend to teachers is a script that automatically grades a quiz. So I think it's called a quiz grade script. Try just scripts. If you search for the word script, usually that helps. It's not coming up here. Try again for quiz. So here it is, the self-correcting quiz. So when we use this template, this already has a script built into it. And what this script does, again, I need to go into the spreadsheet view, but it shows we've got the actual quiz. So here where you'd put your questions and maybe multiple choice. And then below that, on sheet, is it 3? Okay, I'm going to stop here because I don't think this is actually the right one I'm looking for. Brian, do you know where this quiz is? Have you ever seen this self-correcting quiz?
I haven't, but I have seen quizzes done in AppScript, just not the self-correcting one in particular.
Usually you would just put in the answer key, and then the script reads the answer key and will automatically grade the quizzes for you. This looks better. I know that I've used this in a course I've taught. I think that Lori says she could see using this particular script. Okay, here this includes the directions for how to use this script. So you'd fill out the answer key here. So you'd put the answer and how many points it's worth. All of the results would get filled in right here. So as the students use the form to take the quiz, the answers go here. And you also get an analysis, which is nice, of how the students did. And then you can see the results by student as well, so what each student answered. So scripts are great for automating, for doing some of these workflows, for saving time. I would say if you want to just use some of these basic scripts, like the mail merge one or the course registration, that's great. If you need to do more advanced script work, instead of putting the time into trying to do JavaScript yourself, talk to us. Hopefully we can help you with that. We've got a lot of resources for that, or your internal developer may want to learn how to use the scripts language. But again, we do have experience with the APIs and using scripts in Google Apps. I want to pause, and I've got a quiz question for you. It's not self-grading, but I've got a quiz question. So here is the question: do app scripts run automatically? So if you haven't set up any triggers, do they run automatically? Kind of helping you out there. About a quarter of you have answered, almost half of you. Okay, here we go. Most of you got that right. The answer was false. Scripts do not run automatically unless you set up a trigger to have them run automatically, or they are calling some kind of function that runs automatically. But in general, you need to set up some kind of trigger. Are there any questions about what we've shown you about Google Apps scripts, about how these can be used with forms, about where you can learn more information about scripts? Brian, what do you recommend as a next step if people have done some scripting with forms? What do you think would be the next step to check out?
Typically, we see those people who have experience in AppScript do so with Google Docs. So initially, Google AppScript was developed as an add-on tool within Google Spreadsheets, but within the past year or so, Google has actually pushed it out to sites as well, and they have different UI components. So for those of you that are familiar with developing forms, I would encourage you to look at developing the forms within Google Sites, not just within Google spreadsheets.
Right, then the next frontier, Google Sites.
Yep.
Okay, so I see some comments coming in. I'm not seeing any more questions. I want to take this time to just tell you about what's coming up next with our training events. So every other month, on the odd months, we do a training webinar about new features of Google Apps. And then on the even months, we do a special topic. This is a special month because we have 2 webinars, and one of them is, well, you're at it right now, the scripts and forms. The other one can be found on ltech.com/events. It's about Google+. Everyone's saying, tell us about Google+. Should we use this? What's going to happen? How do we set it up? How can it be used? So we have a webinar called Google+ for the Enterprise. That is, let's see, the 20th. That's next Tuesday. I know it's cutting it close to sort of your holiday break. Scroll back up here, but we're going to go over should you enable Google+, how to create your profile, find your colleagues, put them in a circle, doing Hangouts. We do our weekly meetings, our operations meeting at LTech via Hangout. I'm up at 6:30 on the webcam. How to share posts, then of course the Google privacy and security. And what we're really going to stress there is how do you just share information within your domain, within your colleagues, and not to the whole world. So that's on Tuesday, December 20th. All of our clients get 5 slots for that, so you can go ahead and register here by clicking Learn More and sign up. Okay, something else that's new is it's called Training Plus. These are our ongoing training subscription plans. They include monthly What's New webinars, monthly special topic webinars. These are private webinars. Monthly Google Apps consulting, best practices, workflow, third-party app reviews, and then monthly end-user training. So these are great subscription programs if you want to keep the training going with your users or to help out new users, or as your users are starting to ask for more advanced training. Maybe you've gotten beyond mail and calendar and you want to support them more with docs and sites, or using some of these third-party applications. We have a form that's going to pop up at the end of this webinar. If you want to know more about these Training Plus subscription plans, we have 3 different levels. Fill out I think there's a question there that says, do you want to know more? Just say yes, and we will contact you about that. Okay. Thank you all so much for joining us. It's always fun to do a webinar that's different than our standard email, calendar, docs, and sites. I hope you've gotten some inspiration about some of the topics and some of the uses of Google Forms and scripts. Please fill out our form at the end, and if you have any questions, you can contact me, sklein@ltech.com, or training@ltech.com. I know Brian had to run out. If you're back, thank you so much, Brian, for your assistance, and thank you, everyone, for your comments. Have a great rest of your day. Take care, everyone.